Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Indeed, good morning to you one and all. Welcome to today. Today is Tuesday, the 13th of January 2026. I'm Pearson Bowen. Also wonderful having you company. Thank you for waking up to keep us company as well. Open your windows. Let the fresh air blow through. And for those of you little ones who are preparing for school, get up, get ready, have your breakfast, and get ready to either take the bus or walk to school. But we wish you a wonderful day today. To those of you watching us on our streams on Facebook, YouTube, or our website, cbc.bb, thank you for doing so. Thank you for sharing the show. Engage with yourselves, but also engage with us. We love to read your comments as you pay attention to what we're sharing with you today every single day. So thank you for contributing in the way that you do handsomely every day indeed. And so remember always, if you know of something or someone whose story has to be told, you have to tell us about it. And you can do so quite simply by sending us an email. The email address is on your screen. It's morninbarbados@cbc.bb. morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And again, to all of you, we say thanks, 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 thanks for working and being partners in what we do every single day. The little crew is with me. I want to recognize them early o'clock in the morning. There's Peter. Peter's who's operating the camera that I'm on, that our guests will be on. He's the only other man in the studio with me every single day. Peter, thank you for doing so as well. There is our technical director in Rural Ford, who creates the magic that you see every single day while you watch the show, moving from shot to shot, this to that. He puts it all together. Rural Ford is his name. My producer is Tisha Hines. I was going to say Tisha Ford. Behave. Tisha Hines is our producer, so she conceives the show. I simply do the show. So she reaches out to our guests, she reads your emails, she engages with you, and then she fashions what we do every single day. I comply. My makeup artist is Joanna Jones. Joanna Jones, she's the one who keeps me looking fresh every day, and so to you, Joanna, I say thank you as well. Operating sound this morning is Christopher Blenman. Christopher Blenman is the one who turns on my microphone, turns on our guest's microphone. He helps with setting up everything. Christopher, thank you as well. Master Control is Doreen. Now, Master Control is the nerve center that lets you see everything at the end of it all. And so that's where she inserts our commercials and all the different things that we do from right there indeed. And she just monitors to make sure that we are on time. To you, my friend, we say thank you very much. All the security officers who facilitate everything that we do every single day in welcoming our guests and bringing them down to the studio and ensuring that we are on top of everything and just making sure everyone is comfortable. To you, the security officers, we say thank you as well. That's the team. That's the team of people who work together. Small, just a few of us, but we work this together every single Monday to Friday just for you. And we do so because of you and because you need to know the information and to share in what we do as well. Slender Glenda, a terrific Tuesday morning to you as well. She says good morning to all on board. She wants us all to be safe. We say the same to you, Slender. Have a terrific today. Good morning to you, the sweet Rons. I like your title now, Rons. Sweet Rons, a terrific Tuesday morning to you as well. She wishes the very same to everyone everywhere. Sweet ones, you have a terrific today as well. Patricia Ben, Pat, there you are. Pat says good morning, crew. Pat is over there, as you know, in the USA. Pat, good morning indeed. Have a terrific today. Hope it's not cold today, but you can handle the cold. You've been there long enough, right, Pat? You've been there long enough. You're a tough girl. So, Pat, good morning to you as well. Thank you so much for waking up to keep us company. Now, yesterday in Tobago had their general elections. I know you're saying, but how come Tobago had and Trinidad had general? That's how it's done. And so as a dependent of Trinidad and Tobago itself, they had, I'll tell you the results in a moment. Hey, look at you. You're viewing from TNT. Hello, Court Paul. Did you check the results? Court Paul, good morning indeed. You're awaiting another great program. Thank you so much for watching from Trinidad and Tobago. In Tobago itself, Augustine has gone back. Friday, Augustine has gone back as the chief secretary, but he won all the seats. The Trinidad and Tobago party, they won all. People's Party, Tobago People's Party won all of the seats. The PNM is no longer in Tobago indeed. And so Kamla Prasad Bisesar, your Prime Minister, she was beyond happy with those results indeed. So to Bajan Rocks, good morning as well. So things are happening in Tobago. We see the shifting tides in politics as they go. And so as a region, it's going to be one of those years when there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of movement politically. And so we will keep an eye on it as well here at the CBC. Today, we want to ask you our morning question. I really want you to put on your thinking caps now, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to, you can give me a call on 228-5562 or 63. Or if you want to, you can make comments on our Facebook or your YouTube pages, because I really want you to help me with this one. As Caribbean people, what do you think we need right now to further strengthen CARICOM? As a Caribbean person, whether you're here or over there, what do you think we need right now to further strengthen CARICOM? Do we need more teaching about CARICOM and our shared history? We do it for sure here on Mornin Barbados every Tuesday in our conversations on CARICOM. Do we need more of it? And do we need more of it in our schools and colleges and in our households where we're talking CARICOM? Is that what is required? Do we need that right now? Do we need more of it? Do we need to foster deeper business and cultural links? And what would stop that happening? What do you think we need? Fostering deeper business and cultural linkages. Do we need stronger, united leadership? Is that something we absolutely need? I'm giving you options so you can think about and process. You could pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Either one of those could be your position, but you let me know. Do we need greater public support and participation? Do we need that? Are we getting sufficient public support and participation, or do we need more? What do you think? What do you think we actually need? Or do we need just more travel options among member states? Oh yeah, I'm sure a lot of you are going to say, yes, we need to have greater access through travel to our member states. So what does CARICOM now need? And what do you think we need so we can further strengthen CARICOM? Talk to me. I'd love to hear from you. 228-5562 or 228-5563. We are all regionalists at heart. I'm absolutely certain of that. All of us born, raised here in the region, we feel good about this region. We are passionate about this region. But what do we need to further strengthen the region and place we call CARICOM? So call me and let me know, or you can make your comments on our social media pages. We'd love to hear about that. Because coming up shortly, we'll be having our conversations on CARICOM. Yes, the teaching. We're doing more of it today because there's a lot we still need to learn. We need to look at the successes and some of the movements within CARICOM and the different things on which we can draw strength, from which we can draw strength. So we'll talk about that in just a little while. Also today, we're looking at the work of the Rotary Club of Barbados. And what are they up to? They're marking a significant milestone, the Rotary Club of Barbados South. We'll talk to the past president and the past district governor about their successes over the 40 years. We're also looking at how you balance work and life. I know a lot of you seem to be challenged by both. And how do you balance it out so that you live your best life? We have someone who leads in HR to talk to us a little bit more about that balance. How do we reach that balance? Is it possible, or is it just a dream? Can we actually do it? We meet a Bajan Afar who was born to Bajan parentage, who at the age of 7 found himself or herself in Kenya, not giving away the secret. And so we want to hear about their experiences and what we can learn from those experiences and what have they been able to achieve as a Barbadian. What does it mean to them to be a Barbadian in those far-flung places? We want to hear from them. And before the day is done, we're celebrating excellence through music and performance and creativity and all the rest of it. So one of our best artists will join us to take a look at that. Waiting on you. Waiting on you, people. 228-5562 or 63 as Caribbean people. What do you think we need now, right now, to further strengthen CARICOM? Think about it. I will read your comments as they come. I will take your calls if you want to interrupt me. You know me, I have no problem with you interrupting me, as a matter of fact, because it's a relationship. And from time to time, conversation is I talk, you talk, I listen, you listen. All of that happens in conversation, so can't wait to hear from you, Wendy. So ponder upon it, and let's get some interactivity with you. All right, time now for us to have our conversations on CARICOM. This conversation on CARICOM is a lesson in history and a lesson for today, as we're joined by Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency David Commichon. Ambassador Commichon, good morning to you.
Morning, Pearson. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. There's so much happening in CARICOM, but there's so much that has happened before. Our history guides and helps us to understand, to my mind, where we are today, but it helps to chart our future as well. let's look back for just a moment on some of the other benefits of CARICOM, the things that happened in CARICOM and how we were impacted by so many other things going on around us as well.
Well, I like your question because option one is what we are doing right now. We're going to teach more about CARICOM. But option three speaks to what we're going to teach about, the need for stronger, united leadership. And this could not be more relevant than right now, because right now, one of the main challenges we are dealing with is what is included in this national security strategy of the United States of America, which we have not paid enough attention to as a region. It came out in November of last year. But in this strategy, the U.S. administration makes it clear. We are going to be in your space. We are coming. We consider this space to be our backyard. And we are basically coming to dominate. So they have told us this. And indeed, we have seen signs of this. And so, but if we go back into our history tells us that it is a very dangerous thing for us to allow outside powers to bring their agendas into our region and to divide us. Our history tells us that when we are making progress, when we are united, we are focused on our own goals and we are making progress, that it is a very dangerous thing to allow anyone to come from outside to divide us and to distract us from our focus. And I want to show some examples of this. But the first and perhaps most fundamental example for me is the story of the Caribbean Labour Congress. We all talk about the story of the rise and fall of the Federation. But perhaps the even more important story is the rise and fall of the Caribbean Labour Congress, because the Caribbean Labour Congress was this very powerful regional organization that we developed for ourselves. We started in 1926. First conference was held in Guyana. It was led by Hubert Nathaniel Critchlow of Guyana and Cipriani of Trinidad. And back then, it was just fledgling, so it was known as the British Guyana and West Indies Labour Congress. But it really came into its own after 19 years. It really came into its own in 1945. Where there was a major meeting of our labor leaders. Remember, these are labor leaders, coming out of the 1930s rebellions, the new political parties, the new labor parties, the new trade unions. So by 1945, they all descend here in Barbados. The name of the organization has changed from the British Guyana and West Indies, whatever, and it becomes, they say, no, we are now the Caribbean Labour Congress, and they come together and they said, look, we are establishing a federal labor organization, political parties and trade unions together in one organization. We are demanding a federation of the British colonial masters, one federal government. We are saying that we are demanding universal adult suffrage, because back then you didn't have one man, one vote. We are demanding one man, one vote. We are demanding self-government in all of these Caribbean colonies, representative government, responsible government. We are going to establish democratic socialist administrations in every territory. We are going to institute regional economic planning. We are going to nationalize the sugar industry. We are going to put a limit on anybody, any one person owning too much land. Very powerful, right? They elect Theophilus Marish as the president, Hubert Nathaniel Critchlow as the vice president, Grantley Adams, the second vice president. So that's 1945. right? By 1947, they take it up a notch. They've established a branch in the U.S., one in London. Adams and Norman Manley go on a tour of the United States. They raise funds. They have a massive conference in Jamaica. They're now getting ready to deal with the British, to get the British to agree to this idea of the Federation. So they have a massive conference in Jamaica, sorry. On the last day of that conference, 20,000 members in a torchlight procession demonstrating power, right? And then, so we're talking about giants. We're talking about men like, and I just have a list here. I just want to convey an example of how we on our own established this very powerful organization. So from Guyana, Hubert Critchlow, A.A. Thorne, Chetty Jagan. From Trinidad, Albert Gomes, John Rojas. Rienzi. From Grenada, Mary Shaw. Jamaica, Norman Manley, Richard Hart, Ken Hill. Antigua, Vere Bird. St. Vincent, George McIntosh. St. Clair, Bonadi. Ebenezer Joshua. From St. Kitts, Robert Bradshaw. Of course, from Barbados, Grantley Adams, Hugh Springer, Frank Walcott, and I can go on. Very powerful. And so they have the conference with the British in Jamaica. They get the British to agree to the Federation. So we're at a peak. And then what happens? So we get the British to agree.
Story. Then what happens?
Then what happens? Then we allow... In 1947, a Cold War breaks out between the Western powers, the United States, and the Soviet Union. President Truman issues his Truman Doctrine. They are going to be opposing the Soviet powers. We then allow this foreign agenda, this Cold War agenda, to come among us and to say to us, you have to take a side. Because our Caribbean Labour Congress, trade unions and political parties together, and that's the key, they had all become members of the World Federation of Trade Unions. We were all together. But the Western powers had decided we are going to break up this World Federation of Trade Unions. The first mistake we made, the British Colonial Office invited Grantley Adams to be part of the United Nations is just formed. Mm-hmm. The British are in a tussle with the Russians over these colonies. The UN has set up this council to look into the question of the colonies. Britain is resisting. They don't want this council to have too much control over their colony. So they invite Grantley to go. Grantley, by 1948, is the president of the Caribbean Labour Congress, basically to address the UN, to say, look, we will do decolonization under the British. We don't want the UN intruding on this process. That's a mistake, because once Grantley goes, he seems to be aligning himself with the British. Mm-hmm. That then causes a fracture in the leadership of the Caribbean Labour Congress. So you have members of the leadership saying, no, Grantley, you're allowing the British to use you. And then that's just the beginning. That's the first crack. And then this Cold War ideology, we must know, is either us or them. And Norman Manley. So we began to split on these grounds. Those political leaders, those political parties and trade unions that support the Western side, versus those that are more supportive of the socialist side. And to cut a long story short, Pearson, we allowed that to split us. We allowed that to split the Caribbean Labour Congress. We went along, some of us went along with the American agenda. We established a kind of rival organization. And by 1952, we went from the high point of this powerful organization mobilizing 20,000 people. We went in 1947, by 1952, we had effectively destroyed it. Now, why does that matter? Well, we had destroyed it precisely at the time when we were building the Federation. So, but between 52, 58, the Federation came into effect in 58. We did not have that powerful organization to deal with the British. When the British dragged their feet on the Federation, they dragged their feet on providing providing proper financing for the Federation. And then even after we established the Federation, when the inevitable contradictions and tussles between Jamaica and Trinidad and these issues, we did not have any solid organization of our own to deal with these issues and fractures. And ultimately, the Federation collapsed. But I would say that if we had not destroyed our Caribbean Labour Congress, the Federation would not have collapsed. So that's the first lesson. The first lesson in foolishly permitting these outside big powers and their agendas to come among us and divide us, distract us, help us to lose our focus, you know?
Well, here endeth the first lesson. We'll come back with the second lesson and more right after this break.
Unity, I know it's very easy. If you only rap to your people and tell them like me, them is one race, the Caribbean man, from the same place, the Caribbean man, that make the same trip, the Caribbean man, on the same ship, the Caribbean man. So we must push one common intent.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The One, your number one party station. With an audience from 18 to 40, we keep you engaged, energized, and entertained. Choose 98.1 FM, The One.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, but not everyone has someone they can confide in. That's why Lifeline Barbados exists.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The story continues on this edition of Conversations on CARICOM with Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency David Commichong. Before we took the break, we were talking a little bit about the rise and the fall of the Caribbean Labour Congress. But what lessons did we learn? What's positive coming out of that? Because the phoenix always rises from the dust. And so, Ambassador, let's look at today's space in CARICOM and lessons that you can, and the examples of what we have learned from that demise.
Yeah, well, that was a very negative example of an episode in our history where we courted disaster because we allowed outside forces to divide us and to get us from focusing on our own agenda. But there are positive examples where we have remained united. I mean, a very positive example of where we did something, we remained united, and we were able, because of that unity, to even defy those powerful outside forces, is the well-known story by now of how we came together to recognize Cuba. Yes. Back in 1972, at a time when Cuba had been totally isolated by the United States and the Organization of American States, and the then four independent CARICOM countries, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, and Barbados, we came together and said no, we are not following your prescription to isolate Cuba. We are not going along with the rest of the hemisphere, but we are going to do it collectively. not separately. The four of us, we are going to do it collectively. And having done it collectively, it was so powerful that not only was the US and the OAS forced to accept it, but then it served as a positive example for the rest of the region, who then said, well, if these four can do it, we can do it as well, right? So that was a positive example of where we stuck to the game plan in a united way. Then another negative example is the Grenada Revolution. Again, remember when Grenada had the revolution in 1979? Again, we allowed that big power ideology of West versus East, and Siaga in Jamaica took great exception to Grenada, opposed Grenada. Then, of course, there was the collapse of the revolution. There was the episode of the invasion, after Maurice Bishop was assassinated, and we did not. So these were two fundamental challenges. First, the revolution itself in '79, and then the collapse of the revolution were two fundamental challenges to us in the region. And instead of us kind of, uniting and dealing with these challenges, again, we allowed the big powers to come among us and the big power ideology, and it almost destroyed CARICOM, because you had a number of CARICOM countries that went along with the United States to invite them to invade Grenada in 1983. There was a meeting, a CARICOM meeting, at which those member states that had invited the United States did not inform the others. So the others were planning their own CARICOM strategy to deal with the crisis. They were blindsided. And the ones who were blindsided were actually Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Belize, and that caused great bitterness and division in CARICOM. And CARICOM almost came to destruction. CARICOM became dysfunctional for several years. As a result of that dysfunction, the CARICOM multilateral clearance facility collapsed. The whole economic crisis, IMF structural adjustment, we did not deal with it properly. It really set us back. Fortunately, CARICOM did not collapse, and we saw through that. Another positive example, Pearson, I would say, is how we came together to deal with the issue of Venezuela. We showed again. That was another positive example, like the Cuban example. When in 2019, when Juan Guaido was declared president, CARICOM saw that this could destabilize our zone of peace. We came together. We had one united position on it. We sent a team of CARICOM prime ministers to the UN, and we were able to get control over that crisis situation. And then again, in 2023, with the Argyle process, when it was really getting very hot between Venezuela and Guyana, again, we kept our heads on, we kept our unity, we arranged that meeting at Argyle, and again, when we did, the point I'm making is, when we do not allow these outside influences to come among us, to divide us, when we are able to maintain our unity, we have been very effective. We have been able to handle our own problems and to take our agenda forward. And I think we have come now to another juncture where we are faced with this challenge. We are faced with this challenge once again, and the question for us is, will we maintain our unity? Will we maintain our own focus, our own agenda, or are we going to allow this outside power and its agenda to divide us?
Yeah. Have we learned anything from our past?
Have we learned anything?
Have we learned anything from our past?
You know?
Ambassador, this is a conversation that has to continue, but I have to leave it right there for now. But thank you so much, as usual, for joining us and engaging us with the teaching of which we spoke earlier, the relevant need for teaching. If we, as Caribbean people, are to exist as a united bloc, we need to know. And so our conversations on CARICOM allow us to know and to know our history so that it can inform our present and our future as well. As always, thank you so much.
So as we end on a good note. We end on a note where I'm asking people to think about that question. Will we once again allow ourselves to be divided? And as you think about that question of the day that was posed and those options for answers, think about that as well.
It's on your screen. Take a look. Thank you so much, Ambassador David Kamashong.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solar Ray, microbiome, probiotics, and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV 8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
98.1 The One, your number one party station. With an audience from 18 to 40, we keep you engaged, energized, and entertained. Choose 98.1 FM, The One.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely, and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, but not everyone has someone they can confide in. That's why Lifeline Barbados exists, to be there for you or someone you care about during tough times. Save this number. Lifeline Barbados is just a call away. Remember, you can reach out whenever you need to talk.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book?
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're 27 minutes to go to the hour of 7 o'clock as we turn our attention now to the work of the other workers in our community. Rotary Club is one such worker of our community. And I keep asking you every day, what do you do with your time? I never ask you, how are you doing? I'm not going to ask you how you're doing. My question to you is, what do you do with your time? All that you have is today and now. What are you doing with your now? What impact can you have with your now? What can you do to make something different and better for someone now? The Rotary Club understands that indeed. And so together they unite for good, but they're most of all, they're trying to break barriers. And so that's the theme for the Rotary Club of Barbados South. And we're joined by the Vice President for just a year, Stephen Broom. Good morning to you, Stephen.
Good morning.
And the past district governor in Sonia Aline. Good morning to you as well.
Good morning.
Congratulations, first of all, on the 40th anniversary.
Sure,
40 years. Will you stop to reflect
you.
on that for a moment, Stephen? Talk to me a little bit about what you see in reflection of the great work of the Rotary Club Barbados South.
Well, Rotary is an organization with a motto of service above self. It was started in 1905 by Paul Harris in Chicago. And the name Rotary came about because it was a group of professional men who rotated the meetings among their offices, etc. In Barbados, Rotary started in 1962 with then business person Paul Foster and Tom McLaughlin. And they started because a number of persons, Rotarians, were coming into Barbados. Paul Foster was chair of what was the then Barbados Tourist Board.
I remember.
And persons were coming in and saying, there's no Rotary Club, we can't, because in Rotary you have to have make-up meetings. So they wanted to come and attend their make-up meetings while they were on holiday. So Paul and Tom got together and started Rotary in Barbados in 1962. And started with the Rotary Club of Barbados. Then we had the Rotary Club of Barbados West, and out of that then we have the Rotary Club of Barbados South. And we are the Rotary Club of Barbados South, and we were chartered on the 13th of January 1986. And our first president was Peter Hollins, who I think was the then general manager of Barbados Telephone Company, etc. And really, in terms of service, it is about doing not, of course, we all have our professions, etc. But then you want to give back. And as you know, government has a program now where even the university students have to give back.
Yes.
And so it's about going into your community and looking at areas where you can assist, because government can't do everything. So service clubs like Rotary give you prime opportunities to assist in your community and to give back and to help those who need assistance. And that's what we do well in Rotary.
You so very proudly wear your pin. I see it on your collar, I see it on yours as well, Sonia.
Yes.
But as district governor, talk to me about the health of the Rotary clubs across the district that you would have had some responsibility for.
Okay, well, we're part of District 7030, which stretches from St. Kitts in the north to the Guyanas, so English-speaking Guyana, French Guyana, Suriname, and Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao. And so we're 17 countries, territories, almost 2,400 members strong, healthy, doing impactful projects, and truly, as a past district governor, it warms your heart to go and see the impact that Rotary has on communities where people are forgotten. Because we don't just deal with the things that are the lights and glamour, we go into the far regions to provide water, to educate, to promote polio, our polio work. So I think Rotary is one of those service organizations that really make that difference that you can feel and touch. And I am proud to be a member.
I hear your pride, and I see the work and the effort that you're doing, because while you were speaking, we were showing examples of the great work that Rotary has been doing in Barbados in particular over the years. And so, Stephen, here it is, you're celebrating 40 years. What's your milestone that you're trying to reach now? I mean, 40, we can settle and say, hey, life has been good, I retire, but life has to continue. What do you see to be the next stage of work for Rotary in Barbados?
I think the next stage for us, if you look at our team for this year, is breaking barriers. And the whole point of that is to look at advocacy and inclusivity for persons who are disabled. So we want not just to have members who are ordinary members of society, but we want to be inclusive. And so our Breaking Barriers program, we have two aspects of it. One, we have 50 trees for 50 years, in which the whole idea, there's advocacy and inclusivity of the disabled community. That's something that we are very proud that we are working on. And we've just been given a $30,000 grant by the Ministry of Labor, Social Security, and the third sector. And that will be used for working with persons in the public and private sector in order to encourage them to employ more persons who are disabled into their workspaces, and also to train persons who are disabled and prepare them for roles within the working environment, whether that's entrepreneurs or employees of organizations in Barbados. We want to continue doing good, as our international theme says as well. And, we want younger persons to understand that a life of service is a life well lived. And we want persons to see us not as some exclusive club or something, but a group of people who come together with a common cause to serve. And that's the key thing, to serve.
Sonia, how are people invited to membership of the Rotary? How does that work?
So, first of all, you have to have a heart of service. And we as members look around our communities to try to find people who have that heart of service, but also we're a vocation club. So we also look around our communities for vocations that are missing from our club. And we would invite people. Yes, people express interest. People see the good that we're doing and they would like to be members. But truthfully, when they come and they realized the level of commitment that is needed, they kind of want to be friends of Rotary and not necessarily members of Rotary. So contact a member. The members will invite you. We also have links on Rotary.org, which is our international website, where people express interest, and Rotary International funnels these people who have expressed an interest in joining to the clubs for us to see if they are the right fit.
So the needs, you identify needs that you need to have within the clubs, and then you seek those people to fill those needs. What are the needs now for Rotary Club of Barbados South that you need filled?
Well,
more specific needs. You can say so. There's that.
Well, we have a lot of needs. We always want members, persons of good standing who want to come and work within our communities and our projects, etc. We are always looking for funding from the business community and from persons who want to assist Rotary. So we always have a program of projects. We will send you a list of the many projects that we are doing. We have our annual Christmas hamper project. So every year we want persons to assist us in funding a project like that. We give over 200 hampers to persons who are needy. We have a project, Agro Kids, for students, where Rotary International has interest in the environment, and so there's the whole area of food security, etc. So teaching young persons about agriculture and the importance to our country, etc., is important. We have projects in terms of right now we have the foot care project, which is we do a lot in terms of diabetes and the diabetic foot. Over the years, we've had a legacy project where we worked with the orthopedic workshop at QEH, and we've done a lot of infomercials on informing people about the diabetic foot, etc. So right now we have a project where we have shoes specifically for persons who are diabetic, and so if those persons want to contact us if they're in need, they can, and we would help them to source shoes, etc., for their feet. So we always have needs, and it's, we will go out to the community and say what we want from time to time, and we always want persons who want to assist us. We welcome that support.
Sonia, you use two T words, time and talent. You put it down to simply those two.
Absolutely.
Why?
Well, you got to have the time. This life of service is not just 1 hour a week. This is an everyday lived experience. So as we go about our businesses as Rotarians, we live that motto, service above self, and the four-way test. So it is our time, our talents. Not everyone is able to give financially, or the time to come to the meeting, but they give in ways that impact the communities. We turn up for projects, we get sponsors to come and help us do these programs, we invest in our youth, which is a huge part of what we do in Rotary through our Rotaract clubs and our Interact clubs and even our Early Act. So we start from primary school level with a life of service. It just doesn't happen overnight. So we expect people who show up to have those attributes to be able to be effective Rotarians. And as I say, that heart of service. There are 3 Rotary clubs on the island, and many think of it as just one Rotary, and that is so wonderful because we work well together in Rotary in Barbados throughout our district and our zone, etc. So that important measure, time and talent, is important. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's how we serve.
Again, what do you do with your time of service?
How do you make the dash important?
That's right.
How do you make that dash? What do you utilize with that dash?
That's right. From beginning to end, indeed. And so I have to end right here. You wanted to say something, Stephen?
Just that I'd like to commend our club because everyone knew Rotary as a group of men, coming out of the business community. But in 2003, our club, Rotary Club of Barbados South, was the first club in Barbados to accept women. And we were also the first club in Barbados to have a district governor who was a woman. And on the 1st of July, we will have the first person in the disabled community, the Honorable Carrie Ann Eiffel, as our president. So our club is very inclusive of everyone, and I think that is important for us to stress that as well.
Congratulations on your 40 years.
Sure.
Well
Thank
done,
you very
now
much.
good and faithful servants. Indeed, thank you. Thank you so much,
Pearson.
Sonia, as well. All the
Thank you.
best. You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations to the Rotary Club of Barbados South marking their 40th anniversary. There are other clubs. There are 3 Rotary clubs on island. If you need to know more about how you can spend your time and your talents through the work of the Rotary, just check them out on socials and learn more about the organizations. It is not a, hey, I want to be a part of it alone, but you must be committed through effort, time and talent. That's what you're looking for. So if you're serious about it, get serious about being a member of the Rotary Club. Thank you again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
We're
you.
taking a break here, folks. We're back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that. Scold, a look into the future.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons, which will surprise many, is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
10 minutes now to go to 7 o'clock. Sometimes we struggle with balancing life. Life in all of its factors indeed. And so how do you really strike the balance between work and life and all the else that you have to do indeed? Alexia Halliday joins me now. She's a part of the HR Edit indeed. And so good morning to Alexia. Good to see you.
Good morning, Pearson. It's good to see you again.
Happy
New Year.
Stop it, girl. That's right. That's good. Talk to me a little bit about the organization, the HR Edit.
So the HR Edit basically will come in, will assess your human resources, what it is you're trying to achieve with your business, and we will then help you to maximize your human resources to be able to achieve your business objectives. There's certain key things that you need to have in place legally. We need to make sure those things are in place legally, make sure that you have structure, you have all your documentation in place, make sure that your employees are engaged, what you need to do to make them more engaged, to help you be able to attract the type of candidate that you want and so forth. So basically we're your little secret weapon to help you maximize your resources. So if you don't have an HR officer, an HR manager, then you can bring us in and we'll perform that function for you so you can get high level expertise at just a fraction of the cost.
And you give a level of oversight as well, and when you're done you leave us with a blueprint that we can follow for success.
Absolutely.
And that's why I said eat it as well.
Exactly.
So let's talk a little bit about, because life is as life is, and somehow life has gotten busier for a lot of people. We're juggling many things at many times, but the balance is the one we need to strike. Is it at all possible to have some measure of balance?
It is possible. It's not something that happens overnight. It's something that you have to build. So you don't just wake up one morning and decide, okay, I'm not doing X, Y, and Z or so forth. There's certain things that you focus on and you just do it one task at a time, one little change at a time, one little conversation at a time to get there. And work-life balance looks different for different persons, even looks different for you at different points in time in your life. So work-life balance for you when you're single may look different from when you're married, may look different from when you have kids, may look different from when you're caring for an elderly parent or someone who's disabled. So work-life balance is trying to make sure that you are productive at work, also making sure that you're able to achieve what you want to achieve in your personal life. So you determine that, and that is very personal to you. No one can tell you what work-life balance would look like for you.
That requires, in my mind, a level of prioritization. You must be very clear in your head what it is you're seeking to achieve. But many times, and I'm going to do it by age demographics now for a second. When you're a little bit younger, your priorities are so different.
Definitely.
Life is long, and you figure you have all the time in the world to do everything you need to have fun.
Absolutely.
And then as you age, you realize later on reflection, I may have squandered my time. So how do we deal with it by demographic so that we get it right?
So there are a number of different things. For instance, when you're younger, your priorities may be different. So you may think that you could stay out all night and still come to work and be productive. And to a certain extent, when you're young, you can get away with that. The things that you used to do when you were younger, you are able to get a lot more done. But at the end of the day, are you really able to achieve and progress in your career the way that you want? So you spoke about prioritization. You need to set your priorities, and that is what is going to determine what you're going to do with your life. When you're older, your priorities are different as well. There was a research that looked at what persons regret on their dying bed, and it's never, oh, I wish I worked more, I wish I worked harder. It's always about time that you wanted to spend with your family and your friends. So don't wait until you get to your deathbed to then have those regrets. So we use a little acronym called BALANCE in order to help to achieve your work-life balance. So B is for boundaries, A is for autonomy, L is for load, A is for alignment, N is for non-negotiables, C is for communication, and E is for energy. And once you follow that and you implement one step at a time, and you don't have to implement all 7, we just pick out the ones that impact you the most are the ones that you're most able to achieve, then you're able to get on the way to achieving a better work-life balance based on your terms.
Well, I'm clear at the end. Some things are non-negotiable. And that's because you're trying to set boundaries. Boundaries that allow you to be able to maximize you. Because in living life, we all have not just priorities alone, but we have passions and purposes that we need to fulfill. And sometimes the other thing can override the purpose that you really want to serve. And so you feel miserable and somehow you don't feel fulfilled. And that's what you're talking about here when we talk about work-life balance, fulfillment of self. And if you don't quite get that, using the word balance again, right, that's when you feel so angry with the time that you've squandered.
Absolutely. So you spoke about prioritization. So you set boundaries based on that. If you have a family member or you have an activity you want to take part in. For instance, you're a member of the Rotary Club, but if you're never able to make those meetings, you're never able to contribute the way in which you want to. So you may set certain boundaries, and it doesn't mean that every morning I come in at 8 and I leave at 5 regardless. Those boundaries are flexible based on what your priorities are and based on what the situation determines. But then you also have to communicate that as well so persons understand what your boundaries are. Then we spoke, that covers the B and the C. Let's go back up to the A. So we talk about autonomy. Depending on your role, you have a certain level of autonomy. You may be able to renegotiate, you may be able to delegate, or if you're a line worker, you may not have as much options, but maybe you may have control over the way in which you structure your day. Maybe you can trade off with one of your colleagues or something that works with you on that particular shift. So you try to achieve the autonomy to try to structure your day as much as you want. If you have to go and pick up your child, you may decide to use your lunch hour later in the day to be able to pick up your child from school, because it's important for you to make sure that your child is home safely and not at school waiting for you to finish work after hours. So we spoke about the B and the A, load. We have grown up thinking, our generation, thinking that the harder you work, the more your worth is.
Yes.
But work does not equal worth, because at the end of the day, when it's time to cut, they're going to cut, regardless of how much you think you've contributed. Michelle Russell spoke about that in article where she talked about not giving your best to your company. She's not saying don't give your best to your company, but give your best based on your priorities, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, so forth. And then your best also is going to vary at different points in times as well. So you have to always reevaluate constantly. It's very flexible, especially with remote work now, where you don't leave your work at home. You're attached to a work cell phone. You have a work device you take home with you, so it's a lot more difficult. It's a lot more nuanced, but it's a lot more personal as well. It gives you the flexibility and the options to be able to try to navigate to achieve that work-life balance.
And the other A?
The other A is, the first A I said was autonomy. The other A is alignment. Alignment with your priorities, alignment with your values. So if family life is important to you, you need to prioritize that. The same way that if we have a meeting with our CEO, we will put it in our schedule and we'll make sure we're prepared. You need to do that with your family life. If you have an important activity with your family, put it in your schedule, put it in your calendar. If you make sure that you're prepared, if you're taking your child to football, make sure you have the football clothes laid out for him so that he can you can grab that and go through the door. Make sure that you have a snack ready after football is finished so he could replenish his energy and so forth. Energy is another one, the E. I'm jumping all over the place with the word balance.
I'm working with you because we did it, and now N, I said, is negotiable.
N is non-negotiable.
Right, and C is communicate.
C is communication. So we spoke a little bit about that, because you have to communicate what your boundaries are, what your values are. You also have to communicate. You have to speak up. If you need something, you need to speak up and ask. Do you need help? You need to delegate this to somebody else. If you're doing the work of 3 people, you're always going to feel burned out. You need to speak to your boss and have a conversation with them. And at the end of the day, we all understand that healthy people create healthy workplaces. And you can only give so much. If your employee is burnt out, they're going on sick leave, they can't contribute. So at the end of the day, we all are trying to achieve the same things. We want to make sure that you're happy, that you're engaged at work, that you're not going to resign at short notice and then we have to go and find somebody else to replace you. We're all trying to achieve the same thing. So communicate with your boss. Let's go back to the non-negotiables. When you communicate, you need to communicate what your non-negotiables are. For instance, One day a week, you may decide, I'm not taking out my laptop when I get home. When you get up in the morning, you may decide, I'm not going straight on my work phone in the morning. So you need to communicate those non-negotiables. E is for energy. We think about time, but let's think about energy. What it is that gives you energy, that gives you joy, what depletes your energy. That helps you to determine your priorities as well, and helps you to determine your work-life balance.
Well done, Alexia Halliday. Well done, well said as well. I think, and it's all achievable. It's all achievable. It
one
takes
step at a time.
Correct. One step at a time, but it takes a little time to think about it. It starts with you.
Yes,
so if you
it
want
does.
to seek that work-life balance that you're desperate to have, it starts with you thinking for just a moment, what are your priorities? What is your purpose? What are the things that you absolutely must have and must do, and those things that you are not negotiating on because your other life needs you as well. The thing that brings you joy. And so let's see if we can do this together starting this year. Indeed. Thank you again, Alexia.
Thank you, Percy. It's been a
Alexia
pleasure.
Halliday of the HR Edit. Remember, if we want to have you come and talk to our organizations, how can we reach you?
You can email me at alexia.halliday@theHRedit.co, or you could reach out to me at 238-EDIT.
Edit is everything indeed. Thank you so very much
You're
indeed.
most welcome.
Morning Barbados comes right back after this break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons which will surprise many is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end, and what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on CBC TV 8, tune in for Tomorrow's World, sponsored by the Living Church of God.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Let's look at the news now. Over 100 people are every day visiting the hospital's accident and emergency department as the health care institution continues to experience severe strain owing to a major influenza outbreak. That's according to the hospital's management, which is denying reports of patients lying on the floor in the A&E. Now, management discussed this situation during a press briefing yesterday. Anesta Henry has a report.
On a daily basis, scores of people are in the QEH's accident and emergency department seeking medical attention. So serious is the severe strain, which is due to a major influenza outbreak. The hospital's management has deployed staff from other departments to assist, and more still will be added. A decision has also been made to ask specialty doctors to help with a view of speeding up the processing of patients during the busy period. Consultant and head of A&E, Dr. Anne-Marie Cruikshank, says since Boxing Day, 40 to 60 patients are waiting to be seen at a time, which is quite a lot of pressure on the personnel and the facilities.
We may have single numbers, maybe 15 waiting to be seen, but we're into the 40s and 60s. And last weekend, when we had the internal mass casualty, we had 64 waiting to be seen with the 10 gunshot wound victims. So that was very, very intense for us. So we're seeing increased numbers of patients waiting to be seen. And despite trying to refer them to the 24-hour clinic, the numbers just keep on coming. As fast as we see, the numbers just keep on coming. So we can't we can't get to zero then, because the numbers, as fast as we see, admit, discharge, ambulances bringing, and others are coming by private transport.
The officials are also appealing to people to only visit the A&E if there is an urgent need. QEH Chief Executive Officer Neil Clark explains that these include chest pains, severe breathing problems, major injuries, stroke symptoms, or sudden collapse.
At the moment, we're experiencing extreme pressure. We haven't lost control of the situation. We're working hard to maintain and stay on top of that, and we will continue to escalate and bring in additional support to the A&E team as we can.
And Mr. Clark says after hearing a story circulating on social media regarding patients lying on the floor in A&E, he immediately began investigations.
When the team went and checked, they came back and confirmed that at that time there were no patients on the floor. So I don't know what time somebody was speaking about, but there's nobody on the floor. And there shouldn't be anybody on the floor. What we have got, which may cause some of the confusion, is there are a number of patients on ambulance trolleys. And ambulance trolleys are dropped for safety reasons down to the floor. And it may appear that somebody's on the floor.
Mr. Clark says additional A&E trolleys are expected to arrive this week to replace the ambulance trolleys being used, and that would allow all patients to appear to be on the same level. In the meantime, he has given the assurance that routine checks will continue to ensure no patients are on the floor. Onesta Henry, CBC News.
The church has a critical role to play in Barbados today more than ever before in the nation's history. The message came from President of Barbados, His Excellency the Most Honourable Jeffrey Bostic, who says the church must be at the heart of a national effort to rescue the island's most vulnerable youth and rebuild cohesion within communities. The President was speaking at the Church of the Nazarene as they marked their centennial anniversary. Here's a report from Rachel Agard.
The President noted that the pioneers of the Nazarene Church played a major role in transforming lives and guiding many towards Christ. Lieutenant Colonel Bostic also reflected on his own experience in the Men's Fellowship, saying it reinforced the need for strong mentorship programs for young men and boys within the church. He said the influence of the church is needed as many in society go astray.
We are now in 2026, and yes, we have some social issues. Yes, there are economic challenges, but I would like to say to you that the greatest challenge really lies here. It is mental, it is low self-esteem, it is a lack of self-discipline, it is alienation, it is a lack of love, lack of support. These are the things that now manifest themselves into the shootings that we are seeing and hearing. And these are the things that we have to deal with today.
Lieutenant Colonel Bostic urged the religious denominations across the island to join him in his mission.
I challenge you to join forces with those who are responsible for planning activities in celebration of the Diamond Jubilee of the Independence of Barbados, which is this year. I challenge you to join me in my quest to launch and execute this thing that I call the Chapman Challenge. The Chapman Challenge, from the lane to Hillaby. The lane is not Chapman Lane. The lane is wherever our young people are at this present time, their circumstances. And Hillaby is the pinnacle of their potential that we have to help them to realize as they make life's journey.
During the service, 2 women, 100-year-old Desdemona Lane and 99-year-old Enid Marshall, were celebrated. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Brian Franklin has captured the top prize of the $10,000 in the 28th Frank Collymore Literary Endowment Competition. His fiction Steal the Fish from the Devil's Cuckoo also won the Prime Minister's Award, which is given to the work that best portrays Barbados and its culture in a way that leads to reflection and fresh insight into this country. Second place, when $7,000 went to retired university lecturer Janice Bryce for her fiction prose How to Find Your Way in the Air. Akeem Goddard took third place, earning $5,000 for Is Only We, Where the King Grows Wild. The 2 other finalists, Randicia Kelman and Kimar Doughty, received developmental scholarships valued at $4,000 each. Deputy Central Bank Governor Elson Gaskin says the competition, which the bank started in 1997, continues to provide creatives with valuable opportunities for exposure.
In this sense, storytelling, and by extension the Frank Collymore Literary Endowment, also contributes meaningfully to the orange economy. Literature has the potential to generate income and employment. From publishing and performance to digital platforms, audiobooks, and festivals, the written word continues to open the door for Caribbean creatives.
Mr. Gaskin congratulated the participants of this year's competition.
Your artistic contributions reflect discipline, courage, and commitment to craft. To those who may not have won an award, we want you to know this. Your voice still matters. Writing is a long game, and persistence is often the quiet companion of success. To our scribes and wordsmiths, you are interpreters of the Caribbean experience. You hold a mirror to our societies and offer in language for what is often felt but not spoken. Continue to produce with honesty and intention. The Frank Cullimore Literary Endowment exists because of your willingness to share your truth.
The site of the former Paradise and Four Seasons at Paradise Beach, Black Rock, is being prepared for proposed development to begin. New owners, GBL Development SRL, recently acquired property and is being cleared and secured. From next Monday, hoarding will be installed along the boundaries of the site to ensure safety during the clearing of overgrown vegetation and derelict structures, as well as the removal of 2 decommissioned oil tanks. The developers assured that public access via official beach entry points along Highway 1 will remain uninterrupted, and they're encouraging everyone to observe posted signage, follow the instructions of on-site personnel, and exercise caution when in proximity to the site. Let's look at sports now. Shea Hope and the Pretoria Capitals delivered a dominant all-round performance to register a 53-run victory over Nicholas Puran and the MI Cape Town in the SA20 yesterday. Batting first at Supersport Park in Centurion, Pretoria Capitals rode on 53 from player of the match Sherfane Rutherford, and that included 3 4s and 5 6s as they posted 185 for 6 off their 20 overs. Andre Russell made 11 not out and Hope added 7. Let's look at the highlights from that innings. Ply Cape Town fell short on 132 for 7 despite Reezer Hendricks' unbeaten 68 and Poran's 17. The Capitals have moved now to the top of the standings on 20 points, while Cape Town are last on 10. That's all. Look at news. Until now, more news coming up at noon right here on TV8. Morning Barbados is back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The Mornin Barbados news is brought to you by Jordan Supermarkets Spend and Eat 2025 competition.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources. He'll give you the people. Not only will He equip you with ideas, but He will equip you with favor, as He did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solar Ray, microbiome, probiotics, and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
98.1 The One. Your number one party station. With an audience from 18 to 40, we keep you engaged, energized, and entertained. Choose 98.1 FM, The One.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful.
Good morning to you.
17 after 7 here in beautiful Barbados. I wonder what time it is where our next guest is, who is a second generation Barbadian, but who believes in Barbados. So we're happy to have joining us, Kieran Vesser. Kieran, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Pearson. Thank you for having me this morning.
You're very welcome. Where in the world are you now?
I am currently in Nairobi, Kenya, visiting my parents during this Christmas break.
And what time is it there at the moment?
It's currently 2:18 p.m.
In the afternoon. We're still in the morning. Our morning has only just broken, literally. So here it is now. There you are with that whole head of hair. You're in Kenya, and because that's where your parents lived. But you were born of a Barbadian and Dutch parentage?
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
I was born in Geneva. Yeah, and my parents met there a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. And so you found yourself eventually living in Kenya. Well, what does it mean to you to be so multicultural?
I mean, it's a interesting situation because there's a lot of privileges that come with it, you know, just being able to relate to and understand people from so many different places in the world. But it also comes with a certain weight. As when I was younger, I remember having a bit of difficulty to truly identify myself and see which heritage I belong to most. But as I grew older, I realized that that's the true beauty of being multicultural, that you don't have to belong to one place in particular, that you can just spread out yourself across as many different places as you want to, basically.
So while you're spreading yourself out across as many different places as possible, which place really is closest to your heart, fondest for you?
I think and this is not because I'm on Barbados national TV, but it has to be Barbados. I mean, even though I never really grew up in Barbados, my mom is as proud a Bajan as one can be, and she made it important for my sister and I to have as Bajan an upbringing as possible. So whenever somebody asks me where I'm from or what home is, my first answer always has to be Barbados.
Wow, I thank you for making Barbados your favorite place in the world to be. What has your mother been saying to you about what Barbados represents and all of the cultures, of the cultural things about Barbados? What has she been saying?
I mean, she was a very big fan of, I think his name was Gabby. So every Sunday morning after church, when it was cleaning day, she would make it like our ritual to listen to Gabby's song while we're cooking. I think her favorite one was that one about a lady that ran for Miss Barbados. So that one is a lot of cultural meaning for me. And yeah, it's just that having a mother that's so proud of where she's from and of her story, it really just passes on to the children. So even though my time in Barbados was mostly linked to summers, I still have that strong connection to the motherland.
I'm glad you said it like that, to my motherland and our motherland indeed. And so here it is, whenever you come to Barbados, you tend to go to the beach. Why do you want to touch the sand and feel the water at your feet?
Well, funny enough, my mom made it a point for my sister and I to actually not go to the beach when we were younger. She said, if you go to Barbados, going to the beach is for tourists, and you're not a tourist, you're home. So we would have to go to camp 5 days a week. Saturday it was family, and then Sunday it was church. It's only when we got older that we got more liberty that we were able to, go to the beach and, bask in that warm Bajan sun and touch those beautiful coral sands. So,
growing up as a child, sometimes your parents just seem so restrictive of a whole host of things. But now you reflect for just a moment and you recognize your mother wasn't so bad. She wasn't so wrong after all. Do you feel that way at times?
No. Always. That philosophy that my parents instilled in me made me realize that, it's not good to question your parents, because no matter how restrictive or annoying or, counterintuitive their logic might be, it's always because they want what's best for you. So whenever my parents say something, even now at my 24 years of age, I just have no choice but to listen.
You have no choice but to listen. So mommy is from Barbados. Daddy is from somewhere in the Dutch Caribbean, or is it where? Where is he from?
He's from the Netherlands.
From the Netherlands. And so the Barbados has won the competition of the cultures. I get that part. But in terms of being now obedient to Daddy's culture as well, what's that conversation like when you guys sit around the table, perhaps?
I mean, our father also made it a point to raise us as Dutch as possible, but I guess in our family, it's who talks the loudest is usually right, and my mom usually ended up talking the loudest.
If she could hear you now, my mother's the loudest indeed. And so there it is. Do you think you can speak Barbadian at all? Any words in Barbadian?
I can. I'm a bit camera shy, but I could. I'm sure when I come down to Barbados next summer and I get to meet you, we'll have an entire discussion
in Barbadian.
In Bajan.
All right, well done,
yes,
well
sir.
done indeed. What's your favorite Barbadian food?
Mabi. It has to be mabi.
Boy.
Also, particularly because mabi is so easy to transport. So whenever I was traveling abroad, that was like the only piece of home I could carry with me.
Yes.
That and one drop chili sauce.
And what?
One drop chili sauce.
Oh my goodness. We tend to, when you speak to a Barbadian elsewhere, the first food they must have on arrival to the island is either fish or chifette. What's it for you?
I'm a sucker for Cuz's fish cutters.
See, fish. So Cuz's fish cutters you have, and you love that, and of course you must have your pepper sauce with it, right? And your glass of mabi.
Of course.
Indeed.
Of course. Or a fruity red if my mom allows me.
I'm told that you went to school at a French school. Talk to me about that experience, going to school and learning a language which was not necessarily natural to you, but being able to adapt to whatever was taught to you in that French school.
It was interesting. It was the experiences I look at back very fondly. I was actually, my sister and I, because my sister also later joined the French school, we were actually the first Bajans to be registered at that school. And I remember when our principal signed us up, she really insisted that my parents, use the Barbados passport to register us so that school can have a higher diversity statistic. But it was a very fun time. I got to meet a lot of people from different parts of the world. Not as many Caribbeans, unfortunately, but many African, Francophone West Africans, and many French people who are still part of my closest friends today.
What is it that you do for a living?
I am currently in my first year of master's in France. I just graduated from Hong Kong last year in May, and now I'm currently pursuing a master's in finance.
What eventually?
And I'm hopefully
Go ahead.
And I'm looking to come back to Barbados sometimes in the future, as I truly believe in Barbados's potential and my ability to contribute to the greatness of our island.
Wow, you are so phenomenal with your outlook at life in general. But you're into finance and banking. Where have you been in following that particular trajectory of your career? Where have you worked?
I've worked a bit in Nairobi, but that was more on the journalism side. In Hong Kong, I worked a bit in finance, the Netherlands as well, and also part-time in Paris and in London during my studies. And hopefully Barbados.
And eventually Barbados one day soon. You were born in Switzerland, and I mean, just look at this for just a moment. Born in Switzerland, eventually at 7 years old, you moved to Kenya, visited Barbados more times than you can imagine, and then having the opportunity to study in France and travel and work in different diverse cities as well. At 24 years old, you've done a lot. Do you feel that way?
I mean, my parents always tell me to be humble and there are always people doing better than you, always people working harder, have achieved more. So I have this philosophy of never settling down and saying, okay, I've done enough, but just to keep striving forward, because there are no limits to what I believe there are no limits to what an individual can achieve, and it's all in their mindset. So if you think you can achieve more, then you can achieve more.
Absolutely. Because you can achieve more, you can achieve more. Now, what's this pitch? Look at your pitch. Look at your screen. What's happening here?
That was my baptism at my grandmother's church, not too far from, I think it was Bats Rock Beach, yeah.
In Barbados?
In Barbados, yes, sir.
So this was you as a baby being christened in the church. And you look at yourself and you look at yourself now. You look then and do you look anything like as you were as a baby, do you think?
Not really. I think I've changed quite a lot.
Changed quite a lot. I wish I could find my baby pictures. I'd love to see myself back then indeed, but you're fortunate to have had those baby pictures still. And so you are intent on, you play football clearly. You're into sports in a big way. What kinds of sports other than football do you play?
I like to try many different sports. So last year I tried judo. This year I tried MMA. I used to play basketball, swimming, rugby. I had a lot of athletic friends. So instead of going out or going to the movies, our favorite pastime was just trying out, different sports.
Wow. And that surprises your parents because neither of them is into sports, is it?
Apparently, my mom and dad used to be really fast when they were younger, but I'm yet to see it to believe it.
We all want to see it indeed. Do you get a chance to really observe Barbados from where you are there and look at the island in totality, the way we live and all of it? What do you think of the island Barbados?
I think Barbados, for a small island, is doing really well in terms of in terms of government, in terms of environment, in terms of global presence. And I think that's one of the things I love the most about Barbados, that for an island of barely 300,000 people, they have such a significance on the global stage. In terms of quality of life, Barbados is among the top 20, top 30 countries in the world in terms of passport strength, in terms of GDP growth, in terms of leadership. We're just all around doing really well. And is that that lifestyle, that quality of life, that ambition, that perfection in governments is something which I strive to, contribute at some point in the near future.
When you have conversations with your friends and colleagues, people who you meet, and you drop the word Barbados, and they ask you, what are you talking about? What's that? What do you say?
I've heard a lot of, crazy things about what Barbados is, because many people, I was surprised to find out, are not familiar, with Barbados at all. When you talk about the Caribbean, the only island they know is probably Jamaica because of, Bob Marley and other things. So I made it a key point, to educate and to inform people, and also, just educate and inform people about what Barbados is, about what the culture, the history, the language, the food, the values of the island, what we stand for.
And do you get the sense that they are interested in exploring for themselves what you've been talking about?
Definitely, most definitely. I think when I graduate from my master's, I promise them all a grad trip to Barbados so they can see it for themselves,
I love it. You are a good man with a good head on your shoulders indeed. I'll take a break here. I want to come back and ask you some other questions about you and your chosen career and what you're doing there to make a difference to the world where you are indeed. So stick around. Don't go anywhere, Q. We'll be right back, folks, in just a moment.
All right. Thank you. See you soon.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, but not everyone has someone they can confide in. That's why Lifeline Barbados exists, to be there for you or someone you care about during tough times. Save this number. Lifeline Barbados is just a call away. Remember, you can...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're with Kieran Vassar, who is a Barbadian, second-generation Barbadian, born in Switzerland, eventually lived in Kenya, and has been all over the world. His mother is from Barbados, and she, as he said, has the loudest voice in the house. The one with the loudest voice in the house is a dominant one. And so his father is from the Netherlands, but his mother rules the world. And so, Q, good to have you. Thank you so much again for joining us. And with all of that said, let's talk a little bit about you now and your decision to be in finance and banking and all of that. What led you to making that as your chosen career?
Banking stems from how I was able to witness firsthand the transformative effects, access to proper financing can provide to wider society. So when growing up in Nairobi, which is actually one of Africa's most innovative cities, there was this new technology that came into place called M-Pesa, which basically allows people that don't have access to basic financial services to have basic access to financial services, which led to like a massive growth in the Kenyan rural economy, and being able to witness that shift from something more agrarian and more farmer to a more structured financial system is what really motivated me to enter into the sector.
Talk to me about the different cultures you interact with. Africa itself is so vast with many, many different various cultures as well. Where in Africa have you traveled? You're in Kenya at the moment. Where else in Africa have you traveled? And what do you see to be the differences? And why should we in Barbados even want to come to Africa?
So in Africa, I've had the chance to travel to, apart from Nairobi, of course. We were just in Namibia last week. We went to South Africa, Botswana, Uganda, and Tanzania. And I think I went to Ghana when I was a bit younger. And one thing that I noticed people in other parts of the world don't realize is, like you mentioned, this cultural wealth present within the African continent. You know, Namibia is only 5 or 6 countries away, but the languages they speak, their cultural heritage, their historical heritage is entirely different. So even I, or my parents who had lived in Africa much longer than I, had a difficulty to adjust to these differences. So Africa continent of immense wealth. Kenya, for example, by itself already has 52 tribes. So there's a lot to be learned and that can be said about Africa. One thing about Kenya, though, is that Barbados recently opened a high commission in Nairobi. So there's a stronger and growing Caribbean presence in Kenya. So if Barbadians would like to visit Africa, I think Kenya is the good place to start. And my mom, of course, is willing to show Bajans around any time of day.
Your mother's so ready and willing. So what's the food do you think that she cooks there that is so delicious and deliciously reminds you of Barbados?
It has to be macaroni pie. I'm a sucker for macaroni pie.
Here's your brother. Here is your brother. So here we are now. Talk to me a little bit. Do you know how to make macaroni pie yourself?
Of course. Of course.
How do you do it? How do you make it? Not to be cute.
Elbows, boil some elbows in the pasta. Add some cheese, chili sauce, mustard, some onion. That's basically it. Put it in the oven, let it cook a bit. Add some cheese on top to have that nice little crust.
Yes.
And then it's set.
Well done. You can handle yourself. You can live on your own indeed. And so that's brilliant. I love macaroni pie as well. And so there it is. You do that. What kinds of meats do you have access to? Because, you know, we tend to have a little bit of meat on the side. So what kinds of meats are available to you to work with other than chicken?
By pork. It has to be pork. Especially during Christmas time, if my mom has a chance to go to Barbados, she usually brings home one of those big fresh porks and hams. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and you must have that. You must have that. Boy, you're a real Barbadian indeed. I just love the fact that you are. And so having the kind of interest that you have in Barbados, do you follow the news? Are you one who has to consume by way of online news what's going on?
I try to. I mean, now with the advent of social media, it's so easy to follow around. You know, I follow a few news pages like CBC or Barbados Today, and I get, bite-sized information. But unfortunately, due to time difference, I don't have the opportunity to log on to the morning news or evening news. So I try to follow small posts here and there. And of course, my mom sometimes send me, those WhatsApp messages that go through of people complaining or talking about current affairs.
Complaining or talking about current affairs. When you have a choice between Barbadian food or Kenyan food, what kinds of options, first of all, do you offer as food in Kenya? And talk to me a little bit about what are the options and the foods and what did they taste like? What did it taste like?
To be completely honest, I think Kenyans can cook, especially compared to Barbadians. But they do have quite a few iconic dishes. They have stuff like ugali, which is basically like a sort of, imagine a similar texture to mashed potato, but made from like mashed maize. They have grilled meats. They have something called mokimo, which is a mixture of beans and other vegetables. And they also have a strong Indian presence in their cuisine. Stuff like samosas, bhajias, and chapati as well.
Okay. What kinds of festivals do you find young 24-year-old Q going to?
In Nairobi?
Yep.
Unfortunately, I tend to miss most of the big festivals that take place in Nairobi because they usually take place over the summer or earlier in the Christmas period. But they have a lot of Afro artists that come to Nairobi. We had Asake 3 weeks ago, and we had I think Burna Boy earlier last year. But unfortunately, I'm just never there to make it to them.
If any Barbadian artist appears in Kenya and you hear about it, would you make it a must to attend?
Of course, especially if it's Just D or Lil Rick, I have to be there, and all my friends as well.
Oh, so you like Just D? You're a fan of... Why are you a fan of Just D?
I think Just D, I think it was either 2016 or 2018, and I'd come down for Barbados for crop over, and he had just popped up, and like 3 of his songs were constantly on the radio.
Just a minute, Q. I want my technical crew to put the voice on the air here so that we can. I have to surprise you with someone. I want them to hear while you speak. Go ahead. 2016, 2018. Go ahead.
Just D and Lil Rick especially Just D had just come onto the scene, and I actually got the chance to see him. He did a surprise appearance in one band. I don't remember which band it was exactly. So, being able to see him and hear his music for the first time that summer was quite a unique experience. So,
wow.
Just D and Hollaback, Lil Rick are all my soca artists that I cherish dearly.
I can't believe it. Just D is one. Do you have a favorite Just D song?
I like Manager.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. As it so happens, you just said the word, and as I just snapped my finger, and guess what happened? Take a look.
Wow.
That's Just D.
Wow.
What's up?
His name is Q. He's in Kenya at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
He's a second generation Barbadian. And he just said to us, you are one of his absolute favorites. If you asked the question, if a Barbadian artist were to appear in Kenya at the moment, which is the one that he has to attend?
Mm-hmm.
And he said Just D.
Wow, energy, man. Wow. How you doing, Q? How you doing?
Q.
I'm good. Nice to meet you and speak to you live in the flesh. Wow, who would have thought?
I know, right?
So here it is. He said he has a list of your songs he absolutely loves.
Wow.
And have you ever been to Kenya before, Justin?
No, but I definitely got to go now.
Well, talk to Q and let's see what Q could happen for you. Q, can you make it happen that Just D comes and performs in Kenya?
I can make it happen. Kenyans and East Africans love Caribbean artists. They love Caribbean. When Shanzaya came here, December last year, they literally broke over barriers to see her. So anyone from the Caribbean they love, especially someone that has good music like you, Mr. Just D. You'd fill up clubs and arenas for sure.
Wow. We're going to hook you up. We're going to hook you guys up so you can make this happen indeed. And as it so happens, Just D happened to be here. So Q, you're a good man. You are a good man. And so I thank you so much for joining us this morning. Just D is tapping his heart to say he really appreciates what you've done for him today indeed. And so I want to say to you, continue being the strong Barbadian in spirit and everything else, and continue flying the flag. Eventually, once you graduate and you have your masters and everything all sorted, come back home. We want to be able to see what you can do to make a space a bit better for all of us. But thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and hopefully if I find any internship in Barbados, I'll be there even sooner.
Even sooner. By the way, what's your mother's name?
Harriet Osborne.
Harriet Osborne from where in Barbados?
Jackson.
Harriet Osborne from Jackson. If you know Harriet Osborne or the Osbornes of Jackson, that's Harriet's little boy. His name is Kurin Vassar. His father is from the Netherlands. He lives in Kenya, but he's visiting his parents in Kenya at the moment. But you're based in Nairobi?
I'm based in Paris. I'm going back there next week to continue school, yeah.
All right, keep it up. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. It was an honor to be on this show.
Thank you so much indeed. Folks, as it so happened, who would have thought, or as the Americans would say, who would have thunk that our guest would mention this next guest, who is phenomenal. We know him so very well indeed, and he promises to perform for us. So what I'll do, I'll take a break, and when we come back, we get that performance, but then he's going to prop his behind, break back our discussion, because we're going to talk some more to Just D. So stick around, we're coming back. All right.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Week after week, Scald presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
I'm telling you, if you ever doubted it, now you know the power of music. It can transcend so many people in so many different spaces. And look at that. Q said the name Justy, and Justy appeared. Literally appeared in the studio at the same time. So Justin, hearing that and knowing that, talk to me about that moment.
Well, first and foremost, morning to everybody. Secondly, you must know magic, because I don't know how you got that big. I just heard it snap and I appear and everything. Yeah. But I mean, that's a surreal moment. I mean, I can't even find words to explain it, you know, but I just know it's energy and we're definitely on the right path.
You do music, and you do music from your heart, from your soul.
Yeah, man.
And you say Barbadians consume this. But you never thought for a second, hold on, in Kenya.
I know, I never even been to Kenya.
You
know what I mean? But I mean, that's just the power of music. You know what I mean? All artists hope that their music, you know, travels the entire globe. But to actually hear that it's there, I mean, that's God, man. That's God.
Yeah, the journey of music. But does knowing that, does that right now, just for a moment, sink in your soul to the point where it puts a little bit of pressure on you?
No, not pressure. I think more like motivation. Because it tells me that if it's playing in Kenya, it's probably playing somewhere else. Like, I don't know, maybe Lagos or Ghana. You know, so it's actually motivation, you know, to push to see that, you know, Barbados and the Caribbean is not the only place that the music will travel to.
That's right. Now, knowing that, does it, in terms of crafting of your music, the writing of the lyrics and the formation, the melodies and so forth, do you have that in mind that it must travel beyond our shores?
Yes, definitely. Like when I always try to be on the line, you know, so like, okay, for instance, I have a lot of DJs that would say, yo, just, where do we play this? I said, well, you know, wherever you see fit, because it could fit in soca, it could fit in dancehall, it could fit in Afro beats, you know, so I always try to keep that global thing, because, you know, Barbados is only, you know, a couple people, you know, and you know, you need the music to reach a wider audience. So I always write with that in mind. Something easy that somebody that's speaking French or Chinese could understand and still sing along. Yeah.
French or Chinese could understand. And so your process, with that, you start with that. That whatever it is, it must be able to reach a vast audience. It doesn't matter where those people are, because the quality of it is such that they're going to buy into it. When do you start writing for Crop Over?
Well, I never stop, to be honest, you know, because I'm not only just writing for myself, you know, I write for artists and produce as well. And I actually have a couple of songs in Trinidad Carnival, you know, with Sherwin Winchester.
Okay.
So it never stops. Funny enough, soca's the least genre I write, you know, but yeah, I only write it when people really come for it, and then I really dive in. But for my personal self, I have a folder about 11 songs that I need to choose from, you know, for Crop Over.
That is so difficult. Since soca is not the one that you primarily write, what do you primarily write?
Well, I guess I would label it under more commercial sounding music. You know, I guess more pop, because like I like to write about more like deeper topics. You know, like I have a track called I forgot the name. Lately, I think is his name.
That's all right.
And you know, it's actually a very deep record. It's not about bumpers and the typical thing. It's more like relatable topics. So again, somebody in China could relate to it. So yeah, that's where I normally go.
You mentioned you're working with Sherwin Winchester this carnival. You're writing for him?
Yeah, actually wrote a song, well, 2 songs, and produced one. And I actually saw yesterday, it's actually on the list for one of the road march songs to watch. Yeah, it's called Until the End of the Road. Yeah.
How did that come about? That arrangement?
Well, funny enough, I knew Sherwin for many years. He was actually the first Trinidadian artist that I worked with. I reached out, and from then we just became like brothers. Whenever I go to Trinidad, only one person picking me up, Sherwin. That's where I stay, and he can put me on his gigs, and you know, it's just like a family thing, man.
He seems like such a cool person. I've never met him.
Yes, very.
So I'm interpreting him correctly?
Very humble. Like, I mean, he's down to earth, and he's loved on the ground. You know, you walk with Sherwin, everybody shouting him, but he's so nice, man. Like, he treat everybody like, you know, like they're on the same level. Very nice dude, must say.
So when you perform with him at his shows in Trinidad and Tobago, what's the response generally like?
Well, it's a nice vibe. You know, what we do, we normally sit down and we actually go through my songs, and he actually says, well, you know, these ones might connect more with the Trinidadian public, and you know, and then we do it. And he does it in a way where, you know, we're going Barbados, and try to do the accent, and then of course now from my experience performing, I come on with the what going on, because they like the Bajan thing, so it's actually fun, man, because he's very high energy. We call him the rag bender.
Yeah.
So
man can move.
Yeah, he could definitely move. So it's good, man. He always giving me pointers, and it helped me to elevate and progress. So it's a good
producing for a man like that, a brand that's so global as well, does that put pressure on you?
In the beginning, when I was trying to do it, but I mean, I've done so many. Since then, it was Marshall, Shaggy, Busy Signal. Almost every artist in Barbados, from Rupi, Allison, Biggie, we could be here for the whole day.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Are you dropping some names?
Yeah. Chantel, she probably wondering why we don't release the track. But yeah, man, so in the beginning it was pressure. But I think the only thing now is to try to be on their frequency, because everybody goes through different things. So I might be on this wave while you on a different wave. So it's just a matter of either getting there or you coming on mine and figuring it out.
What do you prefer, producing or performing?
Oh, this is a toss up. I actually prefer writing. Yeah, like I write almost every day. Like I might be talking to you right now, I might say, wait, hold on, Pearson. I'm going on my phone and come up with a vibe. Like, yeah, I do that in front of people on the plane, everywhere.
Do one, eh?
Huh? Do one?
They challenge you.
Mornin Barbados, we chilling right now. Pearson right there, and we got a big crowd. Come in here, and a man was from Kenya, and he said he liked Justy. He said that?
All right. Just so.
Yeah.
And just so, Justy gets it done.
Yeah.
And oh boy, you're phenomenal. In terms of training for what you do, what was that like?
Well, when I was coming up, I wasn't too wealthy, so I did a lot of YouTube. That's how I learned to produce. So I can't really actually play an instrument, but I could make an instrument sound like somebody's playing it. So I learned the mixing on YouTube, the mastering on YouTube. When I first came out with Whole, I actually went for vocal training. I actually invested in a stylist to deal with the image. I was just doing research. I learned the business of music, the full package, man. Yeah.
Wow. And so, because of that, you've built a brand. People know the brand now. But there are others in the industry who behave a little differently at times. I'm going to describe that behavior is. You understand? It can get a little bit difficult and contentious.
Yeah, for sure.
How do you feel about that?
Sometimes you take it on because you're human, right? And you study it. But then you get to a point, like the point I'm at right now, where it's like, you just got to let the music speak for itself. Like everybody's not gonna fancy you or like you, but you just have to be true to yourself and just do you. Whatever's for you is gonna be for you. I mean, like I walk through the door and somebody all the way in Kenya loving my stuff. So whatever's for you is gonna get it.
Is there a favorite artist you love to work with?
I must say Edwin Yearwood. He is crazy.
Why do you say so?
I would send Edwin a song. When Edwin come in the studio, he wouldn't know the song, but he would go and sing it line for line. And he won't want to change anything. He would keep my runs, my riffs. He would my ad libs, and the way he do it. So we don't spend much time in the studio. He's so on point, And then I also like working with Rupi. He's just always making a lot of joke. Nah, dog, that one feel. Nah, dog. But I mean, everybody cool, man. Everybody have a different style. Mr. Deal, we're gonna record it today. We're gonna think it done, but he's gonna come back. We know we're gonna go instead about 3 more times before we finish. So yeah, everybody got a different personality, but yeah, man, I good with everybody. I like working with everybody.
But then you got to work with yourself.
Yeah.
How is it working? You are a producer. You know exactly what you want, but then you rely on other people to produce you.
Right. Well, actually,
how is that?
Well, actually, I produce myself.
You always do?
Yeah. Well, 9 out of 10 times, unless I'm going on a rhythm. Yeah, but most of the times I produce myself. So like 9, Phenomenal, Manager, Only Thing She Knows, So all those were mine. Right. Whereas Whole was on a rhythm. Funny enough, Whole was written for Statement. And he liked it, but he said, "Well, you sound good singing this. You should have it." And he gave it back to me. Wow. So I caught it and ran with it, But yeah, I normally do my stuff myself.
So when you do your stuff yourself, I mean, do you know it's done, or do you feel as if that's good enough to go, so I'll go with it, and then you fret at it later?
Well, no, it's a feeling. It's a feeling. Like I judge myself super hard, so it's like when if I can listen to it over and over and over, Pearson, I know it's correct. If I get in like ear fatigue and bored and annoyed and distracted, I know something is wrong with the record. Yeah, and it's something that you learn over time. Yeah. But at the same time, you have to know when to stop.
Yes.
Or you would just keep going.
There are times when a song is in your head all the time, and you just want to get it out.
Yeah.
And for some reason, every time you turn, there's something that reminds you of it. How do you clear your mind and your thought processes so that each time you approach each project freshly?
Right. Well, what you have to do is like a pipe. You know, when you know turning on a pipe for the first time, a lot of the dirty water will come out. So you will go and you will start doing your stuff, and you might do a lot of stuff that you've done before, but you need to let that filter out until we always call it the portal. When the portal open up, then you get the right lyrics, the right melody, the right everything, and then it just flows from there. So you have to let that first creative juices just run off. Like
Is that easier said than done?
Well, it's becoming easier. In the beginning, it was a little harder because it was people would call it writer's block or whatever. But now I get more familiar with it. I just allow myself to do rubbish. Sometimes I do a lot of rubbish, you know, like, but you have rubbish. In rubbish, you get greatness.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes that rubbish is greatness indeed.
Exactly.
And so you have a new song called Phenomenal. Talk to me about that.
What can I say?
Phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. It's been getting a lot of love so far. It's actually a dancehall fusion. You know, that's where my energy was taking me. And I wanted to keep in the line. I always was singing for the ladies, but I always wanted to sing something positive about the ladies. So I just wanted to remind the women, even though they know that they are phenomenal. So that's the basis of the song. And I actually had it for like a year and a half before I let it go.
So why now?
Well, I had a friend that said, when you're going to release this song, I think the time is right. You can't let the energy die. Because, again, sometimes you go in that overthinking space. And then I'm doing so many different records. It's like, do I choose this one, that person? Like, do I choose this one, that t-shirt? Like, so then she was like, no, just go with this one. The energy on this one, go. And I just say, you know what? Let me just take action and use this as the guinea pig. And then just release all the other ones that are coming after.
We went to ride the guinea pig. We don't mind riding the guinea pig indeed. And so Phenomenal is just one of that 11 that you had to release?
No, that's not even part of that.
That's not even part of that.
Phenomenal is on a whole different side. The 11 are all crop over songs. Phenomenal is a part of the more commercial sounding. Yeah, I have collabs. I have Nigerian collabs, Jamaican collabs, I have country music, all kind of songs. I just want to let them go and wherever the public take, because it can't stay on the hard drive, man.
Are you happy with your career so far?
I would say yes, because I've done a lot more than a lot of people that have been in it longer than me. You know, when I first came, you know, I traveled all over the place, America, Canada, went Haiti, did the Uber Soca, did all the major shows in Barbados, C, Hennessy, Artistry Hill, you name it. Work with some of the biggest artists. You know, like I've been doing this from 2012 full time, even through COVID. So I have to be happy. You know, and I had my daughter in COVID. You know, and I was still able to, you know, sustain myself. And so yeah, man, I'm definitely happy.
You've done well.
Yeah, man. Thank
you. You have
Thank
done
you.
well.
Thank
You've
you.
done justice to all. You've done well.
Thank you.
And so I commend you on the phenomenal work that you're continuing to do. And I wish you every success in all of your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, man.
Good man. Yeah. Justy with us this morning. We're taking a break here. We'll be back in a moment.
Girl, your body too cute, you're not normal. You must be phenomenal. Wind up your body like a carnival. You must be phenomenal. Them a talk about your face, but your girl. You must be phenomenal. You know I'm talking about. Show your ring finger. You must be phenomenal.
Yeah, me if you know, do you love me? Do you love me now? Me figured out you love me, how you climb on top.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Gold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Well, perhaps our question of the day can be a part of your conversation today. We've been asking you as Caribbean people, what do we need right now to further strengthen CARICOM? And let that be a part of your discussion. Have that conversation, because if we know and we begin to talk more about it, we can be moved to do something about it. Whether it's teaching more about CARICOM and our shared history, whether it's fostering deeper business and cultural linkages, stronger united leadership, perhaps that's what you think we need to have, greater public support and participation, or more travel options. Those are conversation pieces that you can have with a loved one today, and yourself as well. Speaking of today, that's it for today. My little crew joins me in wishing all of you a lovely one, and by the will of the Lord, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.